Welcome to Aging Gracefully on Suncoast FYI. I'm your host, Nancy O'Neill. Each week I speak with local professionals on a wide range of topics, from fitness to finances and from dance to dentistry. We are here to give you tips and advice on how you can live a happy and healthier life no matter what age you may be. We're happy to have co-owner of the Fred Astaire Dance Studios in Sarasota, Tiana Ramirez, back with us this year. Today we're going to talk about how dance can improve your social life. That's wonderful. It's, I was thinking about it and having you come back, and thank you so much.
It was honestly perfect timing.
Yeah.
We were thinking about it, and this time last year, or a little over a year ago, this is what we were working on, and we enjoyed coming here and spreading how dancing really can reverse the aging process and all the benefits to it.
And that's one thing. Dancing never goes out of style.
Ever.
Okay? It's been going on for thousands of years. People have been dancing. So it's something that you can do your whole life, right?
It's timeless. It really is seasonless.
How can it increase your social life? Let's start with that. Because a lot of people, as they age or whatever, or younger people, they don't have so much of a social life.
Social life. So you just said it perfectly. So this actually fits both. As you age or even when you're younger, it's kind of funny. We have this thing called a talk and dance test. So when you're first coming in and you're dancing, we're obviously talking to you, and it's kind of like, well, wait, I can't walk and chew gum. Why are you talking to me? Well, the reason why is because we're trying to build in the social aspect to it. Because when you are out dancing, it is, nice to be able to socially speak with someone as you're dancing. So that's kind of how we start.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So we call it our talk and dance test. It's kind of silly, but it gets everybody in the beginning, but then it gets easier. Yeah. Obviously, through dancing, you gain a certain type of confidence that can happen quickly. It can take a little bit of time. It just depends. And that already brings out a different side of you personally, so that socially you're able to interact with people more. You're not so shy. You find yourself in different situations where, well, if there's music, you're going to dance now because you have this whole new confidence.
Exactly. So you become more comfortable, more self-confident.
And you're meeting people. A lot of people come into the studio and they want to find somebody with like interests. It's just like going to a gym or having a book club or something. It's easier to do it when you know people. So a big benefit to that and how it can increase your social life is you're meeting people constantly, people that share the same interest. You're gaining confidence through a lifelong skill, that only trickles down to everything else.
Now, there's something you said about social parties that you have at Fred Astaire. What are those?
So at our studio, and actually nationwide, so with over 165 studios in the United States, and each year I can't tell you how many more are opening, we have our own Friday night or Thursday night practice parties. We call those our social parties. So what we do is that we try and turn our studio into as much as a nightlife situation as possible. So we have a DJ, sometimes we have food, we have drinks, we'll play games, but the most important thing is turning it into a real life situation for people who want to dance and practice what they've been working on. Obviously, again, they're mixing and mingling with other people that want to do it, they're meeting new people, they're putting into practice what they've learned. But the big kicker is that they have us. So they have the instructors there in the studio as a safe place. So if they kind of are struggling and they're not quite sure, what am I supposed to do to this specific song, or I'm not quite sure how to do that dance again, or I can't remember it, then we're right there, just kind of like tag team in and help them, and it makes the night a little bit more smoother for people instead of going out and trying it and they come back and say, well, I couldn't get it right away.
Exactly. And that's typically what happens, and then you have that setback. So it's better to get all of that out while you're under your safe umbrella there.
And we theme them. So sometimes we'll theme our parties to make it like this week we have a disco party. We'll have country western parties, so we try and tie in some kind of theme to improve that social side of it. And it's interesting to see some of the 92-year young women dress up in their cowgirl boots. It's a blast.
It's fun. Now, obviously, you mentioned that there isn't any requirements to dancing prior to coming to you. But do you have private classes or are they group classes? Do you have both? And how about the cost of that, Tiana?
So we do, we have a three-way teaching method, and again, that actually goes back to all of our studios. So all the studios in the nation. So even if, let's say you, Nancy, were to go move to Chicago and you wanted to start taking lessons after already taking lessons in Sarasota, you pick up right where you,
there.
right
Okay.
where, right there. So we all have private lessons, which is your one-on-one instruction with your teacher. We have group classes every day of the week, which is maybe 8 to 10 students to one instructor, and you usually focus on one dance style. And then we have our practice parties. So that's kind of what we say is our three-way teaching method.
Okay.
You learn best in your private lesson, you reinforce muscle memory in group classes, and you really put your practice into play when you're at a party.
I think it's nice to start with private lessons because
Absolutely.
you actually get the foundation down, and then you can expand upon that.
Well, and that one-on-one, you know, that there's a lot to be said with that one-on-one connection. And sometimes in a group class, you may not, the teacher may not have the chance to reach you personally and correct something or answer a question that you have because there may be 15 students in the class.
Sure.
So definitely the one-on-one is good to start.
Okay. Well, and to end today's interview with you, which has been delightful. It's nice to see you again. So people can go to your website and they can learn more about all of the classes that we've just talked about. So.
Yes, the classes and some of the other benefits and starting to get that social life up and going.
All right, great. Well, we'll have you back in a few weeks.
Absolutely, thank you.
And we'll do some dancing.
I think so.
Okay. We introduce you next to Dr. Jenny Wilkins with Age Vital Pharmacy as soon as we come back, so don't go away.